Well, right on 7 o'clock, so we'll get started. Great turnout. As people come in, they'll make their way around the room. I'm Doug Wagstaff, I'm the Director of Community Services in the Town of Olds. And just before we do some introductions at the front here, I wanted to give a little bit of a background how the town ended up sitting in the role of President and Vice President of Citizens on Patrol. So it was quite a dedicated group previously who had run out of some energy, I think, would be the way to describe it. But they didn't want to lose the organization, so the town agreed to be a placeholder, and so he said that you don't lose the society status of Citizens on Patrol, and that you wouldn't have to go through a whole bunch of startup if the community again wanted to start it up. There was a group active and interested in doing that, that we would hang on to the bank account, would hang on to the society status, and just keep it alive enough that if a group became interested and stepped forward, it could take off again. So there are a couple process things that we do need to go through as a society, but we don't want to have that process hold up momentum to get this going again in our community. So that'll be a parallel piece that we'll talk about later, on how we can continue that process to get things back up and running at the same time that we actually get things up and running. Because I just want to acknowledge Margaret Erickson. Margaret and myself and Michelle Honeyman, the manager of community services, are officially the three who are registered as executive of the society. So, and that was again just to hold it. With that, the meeting agenda that we have tonight will be. We're going to keep some minutes. It will not be a formal meeting because of the small group that we had officially. We have now 6 members officially with Citizens on Patrol. So we would like to take this opportunity tonight to talk about what could be in the community, envision how we can make that a reality with your help and for those who'd like to step forward. And with that, just want to have people introduce themselves. I think it's obvious who the individuals on the regular room are, but if they can introduce themselves and your role with regards to tonight.
Okay. Corporal Sean Morgan, Acting Detachment Commander, Olds Detachment here.
Constable Curtis Milbrandt. I'll be the COP liaison with COPs and their COPs. Corporal Mike Blatt, just here to assist in terms of answering probably a lot of questions that are going to come out of you guys, I'm hoping, to try and debunk some of the myths and set some clear guidelines on what we expect and what you can expect.
I'm Joan Bokama. I'm a board member from the provincial, the COPA, and I'm president of Three Hills COP. And with that, I suggest
I'm Vince Clark. I'm the resident perspective and going to be running for president. Yeah.
I can give you some background. This is Vince, the instigator, and he was forming a meeting before he really knew a whole lot about COP. And at the town, we were doing some background work, and then Vince had a meeting at the Pomeroy that drew a lot of good people, and knew he had a really good heart to lead this forward. Do some patrolling that's sanctioned, would be a good way of saying it. So I've been leaning on Vince a lot because he is quite active with the Community Watch page, Facebook page that many of you might be members of, and we just really wanted to corral all the enthusiasm into something that was sanctioned and working with our COP and has the proper insurance and it's a sanctioned organization, so that it is.
And who are you?
And I was getting to that. I can't believe everybody that came. I'm so excited. I'm sorry we didn't have a bigger room. We can grab more chairs, but my name's Jennifer Lutz. I'm a facilitator with the town, so if there's a community group that needs a little help with process or catching up on societies or planning a meeting, I can help groups out. I would like to is Heather Ryan. She is our newly elected councillor, and she is our official liaison with council for this group. So make sure she gets recognized. And I'll be taking minutes. Very minute-like, don't I?
This agenda is circulated. Yes. So, Margaret, if I may, would you mind making a motion? Because technically, we need to be members to have it. Do you mind making a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you.
Second. The second.
I was Bill Clancy.
Yeah. Actually, it's a good point, because we do have 6 people that are members, and maybe we could just get them to stand up so that have done the paperwork. And we have forms here for other people who will be members, but we have some keeners that did that process already. So Vince is one. And you are...
Oh, am I supposed to know?
Sure.
Sorry. And Jamie, if he's got time, sitting around talking about this.
And Robert. Oh, perfect.
Bill Clancy, I was on patrol for, I don't know, 20 years, I suppose.
Great, now we know who you are.
So we're not going to pass the minutes, we're going to wait for the AGM to officially do that. So an annual general meeting is what we'll need to do to get a formal piece going. So as the evening ends, if you're interested, certainly, if you're interested in patrols, and becoming involved in volunteering with the citizens on patrol, there's some paperwork here that you can fill out, which we'll talk about a little bit here. And also, before you leave tonight, or if after you leave, you feel that, hey, you want to get involved in helping organize the society as well, and become a little bit more involved than only, not just only, but more than contributing and volunteering to help the society get rolling and help some of the organization, you can contact Jennifer at the town office. So you can just call the town and ask for Jennifer, and that's if you don't already sign up for free tonight. So she can help you. We'll take down some names and move forward with an annual general meeting to get the process going.
If you've had a previous member, do we have to sign up again?
We do, yes, for those lapsed, and we let that go intentionally at the time. The last meeting that we had, we collected in all the IDs and forms. That was
We've also been advertising that the forms are available at the detachment or the town office, so it's easier for you to go to the detachment.
So with that, we will we'll just share some perspectives, between the RCMP, citizen resident perspective that Vin's going to share with the town, and it will Vin.
More housekeeping. Just in case you noticed, we are taping the meetings, and we're not taping any of you guys. We're taping the presentations at the front. This is with the community TV channel. We did think there's a lot of interest, and not everybody can come to meetings. So it's not meant to invade any privacy. If you're sensitive to being taped, you can talk to Dean, and he'll make sure that you're not. But it is just meant to get the word out broader. So we just wanted to announce that, so you knew that this was being taped.
Vince, if you want.
Excuse me, I think you need to tell them what channel that's on.
Yeah, we can, we'll put it on the Facebook page. It's Old's Community Channel, and there'll be a link to watch this. Dean?
It's Olds Community TV, octv.ca, and Olds Community TV on Facebook, as well as channel 148 on the Onet IPTV network here in the Olds. So you can watch it online or on TV. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, basically what got me started into this was me and a few good friends, we were sitting around and everybody's aware of the crime rash lately, myself included and a few of my close friends who've been victims, and some of them are small business owners. And we were sitting around kind of moaning and groaning, and we realized it's pretty friggin' easy to point fingers and say, why isn't somebody doing something? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't some getting better? It's frustrating, but what's more frustrating to me is not doing anything about it. So, kind of indirectly, here I am running for president, and it fell into my lap, but I'm really optimistic. There's a lot of great people out here. There's a lot of my good friends, proactive, like-minded, good-hearted people who want to create change legally, positively, without vigilante justice. And yeah, we want to get this reboot started in the right way. There's a lot of new innovative technologies that are available to us now. There's a lot of options to make this work in the community, and all it needs is just people giving up a small amount of time once a month, and it can happen. We can do this, we can do it together. This, to me, is about rebuilding community, rebuilding sense of community, or rebuilding sense of security, sorry, and getting people together. Who doesn't want to know who's down the street? Who doesn't want to know their neighbor? Who doesn't want to know when you got a weird vehicle in the area? Or, like, why don't we know who's in our communities? And why don't we identify who should be there? Yeah, I want to create change, and I want to help.
And Corporal Morgan, if you can speak on behalf of the RCMP's perspective with this.
Essentially, you have a good third or quarter of your detachment right here. And then I look out here and I see all these faces. That's a lot of eyes that can help us on the street at night. We have a finite amount of resources to dedicate at any one time throughout a day, throughout a month, throughout a year. COP is a valued asset, and it can detect, deter crime in a proactive and safe manner. And that's just by being vigilant, being part of your community. You guys know what fits in your respective neighborhoods, where you work, where you travel on a regular basis. You know what cars are going to fit there, you're going to know what people fit there, and those that don't fit, you're going to ask your question, why is he, why is that car, why is that doing what it's doing? So it's those questions that when you ask them and then you identify, you pass it on to authorities that allow us to intervene or perhaps prevent a crime from happening. So looking at the number of people that are here tonight, you could cover a whole lot more ground than the members who are being called for service. You can't perhaps do that patrol right then. We may be tied up so that those added eyes in the community that you guys know will help us immensely. And with that, Vince touched on being the vigilante aspect. We want to avoid the vigilantism. Be vigilant, but not a vigilante. We don't want people getting hurt here. And this is the recognized crime prevention initiative with memorandums in place, memorandums of understanding in place that protect yourselves at the end of the day from liability. It's the world we live in. There's liabilities incurred in everything we do, it seems. So this is the fashion. This is the approved model, and it's proven to work. It just needs people to help. And this is really encouraging. I'm happy to see you all here. Hopefully you sign up and you fill out an application, and we'll facilitate push those criminal records checks through as quickly as possible. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of the solution instead of just allowing the called to continue on. So we appreciate you coming out, and if these guys have something they want to add, I'll invite them and give them the floor.
The only thing that I'll add, Mike Black, Vince said it kind of best there about, there's a lot of easy pointing that can be done, but this is a mentality change. Crime has changed the way that the criminals do business, so in terms of community and us need to change the way that we look and try and react to how crimes are being committed. Gone are the days of coffee room talk and complaining and pointing fingers, whereas this program is something like Vince says, it's to care about your community and get involved. So that's what I'm looking for, that mentality change, because with that mentality change, things will get better.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I have to add, just to build on what the two corporals had said, we got social media that's out there now, that's been a game changer for us. We've been trying to utilize it a little bit more, and just the most recent example that I can think of is we had a couple stolen vehicles out here west of town. They ended up out in the field. Suspects went ahead and burnt the vehicles. We got out there fairly quick with the fire department, and it just happened to be a farmer going by saying, hey, I saw 4 guys walking down the lane on my property. So he gave us a quick phone call saying, I've got these 4 guys over here. They're only a quarter mile from where the fire was lit. So we have a whole bunch of property owners in the area, and we just had them get on their cell phone and start calling their neighbors, saying, hey, can you guys go hit the gravel roads and just start doing laps around the quarter sections here? And they did. We had about a dozen farmers doing laps around the quarter section. What that did for us, they didn't have to engage these people, they didn't have to talk to them, they just had to be present, moving around, and put these guys to ground. We were able to track them with the dog, we were able to apprehend 4 suspects, because they seen so many vehicles driving around in the area, they decided to hide. It was a successful snag for us. So here at COPs in town, that's what we're going to be looking for. Hit social media. We got, we get a stolen vehicle that's kicking around town or a B&E, and we can get that on social media, and you guys can be vigilant and look out for that for us, and have those calls pouring in. We're able to map these guys pretty quick, and it seems to be our biggest success rate is utilizing that. So thank you all for coming out, and I'm sure we'll have more questions and stuff later. So thanks.
Question? Me? No. Okay, we're just standing on stretch. It's like an auction if you move.
Try not to bench here.
And just, I made a few comments at the start that really set from where the town was coming from. Our community services department is there to help community groups, in need when they need that help. And when we came forward to Citizens on Patrol, again, I just wanted to reiterate, the group that had been dedicated before didn't want to lose what they knew was a great organization. And they knew that if another group came along and it included some of them again, and it got going again, that it was going to be much easier to start it up if they didn't just fold everything. And that's where we're at. So there is, and the net leads into what we'll talk about in a bit, there is some dollars already allocated for this, so we can get rolling once we have volunteers signed up, and once people have passed through the security screening process and that, then we can begin to get rolling. At the same time, Jennifer is going to continue to work with Vincent and the RCMP detachment to get the logistics set up so that when a new group starts, they don't have to grab everything cold and start to run with it. But Jennifer will help transition from a stale organization into an active organization. And the town will eventually, I would suspect, be able to just hand it over to a community group again, solely to operate on its own. But the town still does provide some of the supports for space, office space in the fire hall. Will continue to be maintained for Citizens on Patrol, so the town will be able to support it that way. What we have put forward, we are in budget season at the town, so administration has put forward a draft budget to council, and in that budget we have increased funding to support a Citizens on Patrol program within the community by a significant margin. So if that's passed, the town will up its contribution to $5,000 a year to help with some of the costs we've identified. One of the things that we have clearly identified that's changed, when last we really identified communication as an issue. And I know Councilman Milbrand had commented about the use of social media. Well, even in the 2 years since the last act of control that occurred in the community, there has been a lot of technology pieces that have come forward that have been able to help. So there's an app now. The town is going to supply cell phones for citizens on patrol, so individuals don't have to use their personal phones and their data plans to access that. And we're talking with the RCMP on how that can be an efficient way to communicate for those who are out on patrol and do as was described, to keep the eyes and ears and communicate that effectively across. So that process of communication is being worked on right now. That's a commitment that the town is going to make. Have cell phones in the town name for citizens on patrol, continue to offer space and office support, as well as other things that the new group that gets elected, if they see some of their needs, they can make those requests as well. That's where we're at now, involved citizens on patrol. Anything you want to add, Jim?
Well, I just think when you volunteer, you don't want it to be an onerous process. And I look at this group and I see potential for everybody, young, old, in pairs, without pairs. How do you bring people together and get people that don't know each other well working effectively? So we'll do some team building stuff. We'll do some appreciating diversity and appreciating everybody that shows up. So, if you're not into patrolling, but you're really good at websites, there could be a really good fit for somebody like that. It doesn't have to look the same. The patrolling can be vehicle patrol, bike patrol, walking patrols. If you're trying to see yourself in this new organization, I think we can find a spot for you. So we'll talk more about that, but just valuing everybody that comes. Everybody can offer something.
Thank you. And with Alberta Citizens on Patrol Association Zone Director Joan Mocha.
Good evening, everyone. I was asked by my, there's Vince back here, we can hardly hear you, can you stand up and speak? I'm sorry. No, it's all of you, like there's Vince here. Okay. I was asked by President Bev Solomon to come and start off with this group again. I'm the number 3 director, which is in my circulation that you guys are in. I went down to your olds on Facebook, on your olds watch, or something like that, and I was appalled by what I saw. You guys are just advertising to the thieves themselves where you guys are and what you guys are doing, and they're going in the opposite directions. So please, stop doing it and start putting on the ACOPA Patrol Act. It is a private one, or it is free. Put it all on your cell phones and get your own little groups together, and with your own phone numbers you can text to each other without anybody else knowing about it. You've got to start being incognito, okay? It's not that everybody, hey, I'm a CFP, and then they're all gone, right? So the thing for the CUP is to have the eyes and the ears of an RCMP, okay? And we never, ever, ever get out of our cars. We just observe. If we see anything happening, stay in the background and watch and phone them and say, I'm sitting here or there, and on your app, they will know exactly where you're going to be, because we have maps and they'll tell him exactly where you're going to be or where you are. and then you just tell them, well, it's only 100 feet ahead of me, and that's where they're just breaking into the house or whatever they're doing, and then they can go and check up on that. You never do, you just sit there and watch. Never, never, never get out of the car. Please, 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 because those guys have been stealing rifles, guns, and you never know if they are standing there. And I mean, I've seen pictures that they were from here to here, that they took pictures of the people that are stealing. I mean, that is unbelievable. You're putting yourself at risk, and a COPA will not cover you on your insurance. I'm sorry. So you have to make sure that you stay safe yourself first. Okay? Make sure of that. We have to have a credit check, which is a criminal check, and have your picture taken. The pictures will be sent down to Edmonton. You will all get a card, and then you can carry that with you at all times. That will be your identification to the RCMPs that you are in a COPA, and you go, there's a manual that you get with it, and you abide by these laws. Okay? There will be a trainer coming, or you're going to a trainer, whoever is going down on the 9th of December in Linden, and the head honcho that just retired from the K Division is going to be your trainer there. So if anybody that has signed up and wants to know exactly how to go on patrol, you will be there, and it's all free of charge. All they're asking is bring some lunch for a snack. It is a 4-hour thing, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning in Linden. What else do we have? Your COPA patrol, you can go just like you see down here. It's a Google Play on your phone, and you go to the COPA patrol, download it, and you're ready for it. Okay? All right. And there's another one that you can talk as a walkie-talkie, and that's called Zello. Z-E-L-L-O. And it's an app, and it's for communication with each other. And that's the same thing, you just put in your group's phone numbers, and you literally can talk to each other. Okay, that's a little easier one, but it is like a private that you don't let everybody know about. Okay, because then before you know it, those guys got it too, and they hook into you. Okay, so that's the second one. I'm very glad that it starts back up again. I know the old gang that was here with Ken Ferguson, and our gang is getting to the point that we are in our 80s, and we keep on looking for the younger generation to pop up and come and take over. But they seem to be just, we haven't got enough in Three Hills yet for us to get really going on it. We had a blitz, and we went with 10 people, 5 teams. Oh, by the way, you never go by yourself. Always be with a partner as backup. And make sure that you mark down what you're seeing on your report card that you have in front of you when you go on patrol. It'll be all, Miss Jennifer, she'll explain everything to you, how it's all going to work once you've passed everything. Pardon? Okay, we did a blitz in Three Hills, and with 5 teams, and each took a street this way and that way at 10 o'clock at night. Okay, northeast, southwest, every which way. And with the RCMP, we had an envelope and they put in it that with the AMA had given us these real bright yellow that said there's no valuables left in our car. Hopefully that nobody thieves would come and look for it, okay? So we went along the street and only on the street. And we went alongside with the cars and see what was going on. And if there was a car open, we put one through either the window or we opened it up and threw it in or put it on the windshield or whatever. If the car was locked, it went on the windshield. You just have been tagged. Okay? We had 100 and 96 were gone. 4 came back. And that was all within the hour. And I cannot get it through to the people in 3 Hills. Why do you leave your computer on the seat? To leave the keys in the car, cell phones, money, anything that you feel like it's laying on the seat and they're just ready to take. You might as well put a sign on here, take this one. It is happening here. I know, I've been watching your Facebook, but please don't use Facebook again. My people in Holland are looking at you guys. Okay? That's a long ways away, but that's what you're doing on Facebook. On my Facebook, all my family is getting to see everything what's happening in Olds. You understand that all? Get off the public and get on to the small ones, the private ones. And this way you can handle with the RCMP a heck of a lot better. Try and be safe. That's it for me for now. Any questions? Yep.
Yes, so now that, if there are any questions before we move forward, certainly now's an opportunity to ask. You have any questions? Yes?
What area do you cover? Is it just the town of Olds or is it surrounding area as well?
That all depends on what the town is talking about. We are just going on our township. But our township itself is Neal County. We don't go county-wise. We take our golf course, let's say from here to the main road. And then just where all the people are. That's about your circle. And that's more than enough.
So we had looked at being the town, but there was, in some of the engagement we did in, Ryan here, how long have you been here, Jim? Over a year ago. We did touch base with the Chamber of Commerce, and so one of the requests was, we have a number of businesses that are part of our community. They're out in Etobicoke and just on the outskirts in some areas. So that's certainly something that we would like to explore with the group. It's not in stone one way or the other. Certainly we have taken an approach in Olds that we're a community of Olds, and there is some of the business community that's active as Olds that's not within the town limits, but I think that's worth exploring.
Is there not a rural crime watch as well?
There is.
Do they not have?
Well, part of what we need to consider is, in our community setting, the Nantucket Business Center, we consider part of our community. And I don't want to get too technical there, but even in our relationship with the County of Mountain View, we're looking at doing some sharing around the areas that are on the outskirts of our township that are in the county. So that's certainly part of the community that we want to be considered. And they're part of our Chamber of Commerce as well. So.
We attended Rural Crime Watch and we talked about regional patrols, and I know Sundry's starting up, I think Bowden's starting up. So it's the old way to work together. So Judy was invited, she couldn't make it to this meeting, but we'll stay in contact. They know what we're doing and sharing information.
We did patrol, remember?
And any of the discussions we had with the Chamber of Commerce certainly included those businesses that aren't technically inside the town, but are within our community. Yes.
You just do a drive-by those, just on the outskirts of the town, 1 or 2 times in the night while you're doing your patrolling, that you just drive by and see if everything is quiet. If you see a car sitting there with people in it, well, then you just pull them.
And,
And the support from other businesses that are in town was supportive of the idea of doing it beyond just the businesses. So that might be a bit of a segue. One of the pieces that we looked at in a budget, which is kind of segues to the next part, we'll take more questions, but I'll touch on it now, is we have looked at a portion that would be some fundraising, and that's another way the town intends on assisting. We don't expect people to sign up for Citizens on Patrol. The town's expectation is that you're here to do fundraising. You're here to help patrol the community and make our community a safer place. And we want to support that. And one way that we believe we can support that is help by approaching the chamber side, the businesses in town, from the town of Olds to businesses, and say, how can we help support the funds to do this?
the big thing for us too is we see it as, they're taking our vehicle and then what are they doing with it? Are they gonna come into town, the one, it happens, right? So we wanna try and stop, we're barricading our dealership. I've got the app on my phone, I am watching it for motion detectors and stuff, but, they're stealing customers' vehicles with the lock boxes, they're getting smarter and they're getting more current.
And I believe the RCMP would concur with this. One of the intents of a Citizens on Patrol is to discourage those who are going to come to the community to do crime, just to make it tougher.
What
If they
really-
know that there's a Citizens on Patrol that's active, they may be a little less apt to pick this community to be the one to target.
And that's what we're trying to spread that word and try to be a hard place to get into. But, when they stole a customer's vehicle, this was 4 days ago. The guy walked his dog had a pee, he had a sandwich, all while his buddy's breaking the lockbox. They're in no pickle, they're in no rush to get it out. Because the customer called and asked if his car was ready and we didn't know where it was, so. It happens, right? But we didn't actually break into the building.
Are there other questions? Yes.
Pretty new to this, but just wondering what like a typical shift would be, like time frame and timeline, like what do you do?
I'm gonna give a typical answer, and if it's off base, let me know. And then for those that, I see a number of faces in here that have been in the past, between 10 and 11 p.m. at night till about 2 or 3. And again, it depends upon the amount you want to commit. You keep a log, and that's part of the training that is gonna go through, is, what are those requirements? What are the expectations? How many shifts? If you volunteer, what's the expectation in a month? What are the ongoing training expectations? So all of that will be in the training session that's coming up on the 15th.
So the latest goes is 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, that's something that we kind of had an issue in the past here in town.
Yeah, because that's your shift change as well, right?
Our shift change is happening then, but
Yeah.
a lot of times, if we have you out till 10 to midnight,
there's not a whole lot of benefit to us, because we got a lot of wheels in the road at that time of night. When we need to see people out is between 3 and 5. That's when we like to see people out. 5 o'clock, you start getting the traffic rolling, people are starting to commute to work and stuff. But between 3 and 5, those are our prime times, that's when we get the vehicles stolen like that.
6 a.m. We don't talk to anybody, just keeping an eye on it.
If you're sitting there in the middle of the road and this guy is coming by and he wants to go and steal that car, let's say, and he sees 2 people sitting in the car there and they're just sitting there, well, they just change their mind and go somewhere else. I do personally with a friend of mine on the day shift, and we sit at the high school and the primary schools, and we catch the drugs. Because we just see them, all these kids are all going to the one truck. Hey, they're being delivered, right?
No,
And they're going to be one of those delivery guys.
there.
And they're gone. Now they found out that we sit there, now they go to Max Milk, that's behind the building there. So we just take a picture and our RCMP is right in front of them. Hey, let's go and be one of them too. They take their clothes off for a minute, go into their regular clothes, and they just go for a stroll. Hey, we do a lot. We had 3 groups that went out on walks, or we went in the car. We go in the summertime, my husband and I, we go right through the town on a bicycle. We just bicycle. We just see this, we see that, but we have cell phone in the phones. And we just let them know, and we just kind of bike away, or we go and sit on the bench for a while, because I'm tired, right? So, in the meantime, when they see something like that, they'll just, we had them in the construction, what do you call that, industrial park. And there was this car just going around and around and around, and we just kept on following, going around and around with them, and all of a sudden here comes a bag out of the car and in the ditch, and off they went. From the RCMP, we sat with the bag, and there was all the drugs. So you deter them and they get scared and they're gone. And we have signs with the COPA, Citizens on Patrol. This town is being patrolled by the Citizens on Patrol. And that seems to deter quite a bit. If you put them in all your exits and entrances and let them see that, hey, there are people here, you just better watch because we're on patrol.
So I guess just to address your comment there from our side of it, from the safety aspect, right? I'd ask you, what's the benefit, or what are you trying to accomplish talking to that guy? Well, I don't know if he lives there, or, right. And that comes down to just being visible and vigilant about who's around, and I get that aspect. But the way that these criminals are going, that they're all carrying guns, and, you know, we light them up with the police lights, try and stop them, and they take off, and then there's a whole liability aspect of it. But when we get stolen vehicles, we're coming with guns out, we got backup with other guys coming with guns out, and you guys don't have anything. You got no training, you got no weapons, you got nothing. And it puts you guys in a really bad spot. So that's why the contact needs to be nothing, just the eyes and ears. As frustrating as what that is.
Yeah, if you try and hurt them, they might charge you anyway. Unfortunately.
Ideally, the way it's set up and the way it works is you'll have contact numbers for members working on shift. So you'll be able to get to us directly without having to go through 911 dispatch or dispatch. So it would be a phone call or even just shooting some text. I think texting's almost the way to go these days. We might be sitting doing an interview, we could be doing a bar walk, I'll miss your phone call, but when I come out, typically checking your phone.
So that's one of the reasons why we're going to set up Citizens on Patrol cell phones, so that those numbers will be identified by the RCMP members. So they don't have to know the 80 numbers that are here in the room, they only have to know the 2 or 3 that are set up as Citizens on Patrol, so that's what will come up on their phones on their end. Question here?
For the RCMP, just curious to know when a
When fines are committed, are there more at night or are there more during the day? Like 10 to 3 in the afternoon when people are at work? I'm just curious.
Say that the majority of property crime is definitely at night, right? They have a lot of advantage, cover of darkness, there's less people around, people are sleeping. And that's where the citizens on patrol comes into play. You guys aren't looking after assaults, you're not looking after robberies, you're looking after people trying to break into vehicles, businesses, stealing stuff, right? Or somebody that shouldn't be there. That happens more at night.
My two neighbors right side by side, so I wasn't sure what the percentage was
Yeah.
night as, as day.
That's what I was going to say, is that there has been an uptick with the daytime sort of entries to residences. Everybody's gone to work. And so are the bad guys. They're gone to work during the day now. So, but I think we see that increase more in the rural area than in the residential urban area. So, yeah, crime's going to happen. Is there a specific time for it? No, it's crimes of opportunity. So if that opportunity is in the daytime, we're going to take that opportunity. If the computer's sitting on the front seat of your car, it's not locked, pretty easy to pop in, break the window, whatever, grab the computer and gone. It's 20 seconds.
Are we finding the culprits that you have apprehended, are we finding that they're from out of town coming in to town of Olds committing crimes? Is that what we're seeing? Or is it local, like average percentage-wise?
We're seeing overflow. So we'll see an element from Calgary that'll swing through, we'll see an element from Red Deer that'll swing through, and other surrounding smaller communities, not just bigger metropolitan areas.
Does that work for the other areas too?
Yeah,
They're going
absolutely.
into all of them?
Our guys are sharing their brief with other communities. It's equal opportunity. But these gentlemen from the weekend were from an entirely different province. They're from Saskatchewan. So, stolen vehicle, come to Alberta, see the mountains, commit some crimes while you're on your way.
And what do you attribute this increase that's happening now? Is it unemployment? Is it drugs? What are you finding that's causing an uprising in this?
Could be any number of things. Those two would be definitely contributors.
Yeah.
Are there more things that are contributing? Perhaps so.
Gone are the day when your criminals were from the next town over type thing, right?
Yeah.
Because transportation was always an issue years ago. Now, where they're stealing a vehicle, and it's nothing for them to put 300, 400, 500 kilometers on in a night and hit every town along the way. Somebody from Okotoks going Three Hills, Red Deer, Sundre, Olds, and all the way back in a night. Got a slip tank in the back. That's why when you see these vehicles, they're just completely loaded with property from all those towns that they've been hit.
Question back?
I'm just curious about the timing. I guess from my experience, 4 o'clock till 7 o'clock in the morning is a bad time. I'm wondering, how are you guys dealing with, if we come out at 5 in the morning, are you available? And last, in my experience, I got 7 o'clock in the morning and 4 in the morning, both times, 3 times. I got Edmonton Dispatch. It was pretty frustrating to talk to somebody in Edmonton when I'm on the phone and I can see the guys. So is it funding that's the problem there for you guys? Or to me, that's when I was hit.
One of the pieces is communication. So one of the things that we've identified, from the previous group and then one of the things, as Jennifer mentioned, and we're working on some things in the background on that piece that's a communication piece. So if we're figuring out a communication way that doesn't go through dispatch, which was what was commented earlier, the concern previously had been, RCMP members had so many phone numbers. Well, that didn't work, so they didn't want to give that out. So we have those numbers in these cell phones. That's a way that we can help.
My understanding is you guys are done at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, to answer your question, we're not a 24-hour detachment.
Right, and so that's what I'm asking.
So we go offline 5, our day shift members go on call at 5, and day shift, they're officially in the office at 7 o'clock. So yeah, when you do make that call at 5 o'clock, you're calling our member, they're coming from their house.
Yeah.
And they have to get to that's, and that has to do with the numbers issue. We just, the Olds area here isn't, we don't have enough members to go 24 hours.
But some communities that are smaller than us do.
Well, we have the college, and you think we'd have, when the college is in, we've got thousands of more people in town.
So I'm just wondering if you're addressing that problem in respects, or can we help address that problem somehow? Because my business at 5 after 4, 15 years ago, was hit at 5 after 4 and 10 after 4, 2 separate times.
I'm not the political guy here, but when Whitecourt was my previous post. It's a community similar to this size, except it doesn't have the dry area. We didn't have the Calgary, Red Deer nearby. But we were a 24-hour detachment. And that was simply because of the Woodlands County and the community of Whitecourt wanted those extra members. So they bought those members and we were able to go 24 hours.
So it's an issue that I think needs to be addressed by everybody in Olds, not just us.
Is there any way to change that?
We don't derail the conversation here today, we're here about the CFP. So, are there resource issues across Canada, Alberta? Yeah. Okay. I'll say that.
Well, I want to bring it out as an issue.
Right.
Some people don't understand that.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. But we're not gonna solve that here tonight.
No, I'm not gonna, I just want to,
With enough applicants too, like, you can have scheduled frequency in problem areas. Like, we can trend this stuff, and like with communication with the RCMP, we can know where the hotspots are, what the hot times are. With enough applicants, we can have scheduled frequency from 4 to 7 a.m. in areas that need to be addressed too, right? And it's no secret that, you know, there's not enough manpower for the volume of crime that we've got going on out here.
Some of us do get off work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have no problem to get that. Those
needed.
hours then,
yep,
right?
election.
And we can help them. We have the ability to help them.
Well, I think with the numbers for sure.
On average, you have 1 police officer per 1,000 people. So, it can be busy.
Depending on what
thousand you get.
Kind of bring that back to the COPs, I don't think we would be very hard pressed. If we knew there's COPs going to be out between 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, to have a night shift member stay an extra 2 hours, putting overtime. I don't think there's too many guys in our detachment that would not want to do that or not want to be there.
Thanks.
We have extended patrols into the overtime hours per se to increase patrols. And that's when our officers got rammed, so
Thanks.
it does work.
No, just
Yes.
You mentioned that you're working on getting cell phones for us, so we go on patrol with identifiable cell phones, right? Now, do we gather here? Where do we gather to get those cell phones so that we can have them with us on patrol?
So the starting point is in this building, so there is an office downstairs. So one of the reasons you also do a security piece is that you're gonna have access a portion of this building, not the whole building, to get into the office. That's what part of the training is gonna be, about what process there is to sign in, what you need to do, how you need to contact the members that are on patrol, where you go. All of that is coordinated out of this building, so you do start here to pick up the items. Not seeing other questions, and I'll just move into a little bit of, oh, there's another one? Yeah, okay.
So, you're working to a defined schedule, like a map is drawn up for you as to where you're supposed to patrol?
No, because they will know, they'll get to know pretty soon that you're going every time from 1 to 3 to 5 to 7 to 2, and you keep going around, and pretty soon these guys are gonna start following you, and then they know exactly, there you are, okay, we can go down that way. You never go to the same place at the same time.
In some of the conversations we've had briefly with Sean has been not predictable as prescribed. Prescribed as in we would like more guidance from the RCMP as to where patrols should happen at any particular time. So if they have seen a trend in a particular area at a particular time, they want to communicate that to COP patrols so that they focus in and make those patrols as valuable as we can to assist the RCMP in the community from a community policing perspective. So not prescribed as in do this route every shift, but prescribed as in you want to make sure they're focusing on those. That capture. Yeah.
That's why we say you're the eyes and the ears of the RCMP. They will let you know where it is, and you just sit and watch. Even if you have to sit half an hour at a max milk, and they figure that there's something happening down there, you just sit at a distance and you just watch that front door, or you watch the back door.
And
That's the job.
that may change through the night depending upon what they're dealing with, what they may feel that they need some assistance with that night.
To the Moulders, Hildebrand or whatever, there's something going on down there. The alarm went off or something. And then you go and sit in the beginning of where you turn off, and that you can see it from a distance, and just sit there. You don't do nothing, you don't go and investigate, you just sit there.
You have a question?
Yes, like the one officer was saying that they got the other farmers involved and they would drive around the roads. Will that happen with us as well? Like, would we be contacted, even though that we're not scheduled to go on patrol, to go out and maybe drive around to round up somebody that maybe be in the area?
So this is one thing that Olds is innovative, and we have our manual, we'll have our rules, but I think when we're working with the RCMP, we can come up with some old strategies too, and different technology. I mean, Olds is innovative, right? So this program will follow the rules. We're going to make sure that we're in good standing, but if there's something innovative that we can do that's supported by the RCMP, we can pilot things, we can try things, and it's going to look different for Olds.
We have to be careful too when it worked on that rural property, worked really well. I think we deemed it more of a low risk, but we have to be careful what information we're going to send out to you, because we don't want to draw you into a potential situation.
Right, that's right.
You know, where there's going to be a gunfire.
Completely understand.
A few questions here, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
just, again, is the information going to be funneled through one person? Like, there's three of you, two maybe on how many cars on patrol, 3 cars on patrol?
We haven't discussed how we want to set that up as a detachment.
But you'll have a coordinator.
We will, I'll be the coordinator, so I'll be the main guy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but as COPs are coming on shift that night, we just have to figure out a way to let you guys know which members are actually working, so you can contact them. That was always a tricky thing in the past.
And one of the things when we talk about using those cell phones, that makes it easier because they know that's an easy way for all the members to know. Here's the 2 numbers. I'll let know if they've checked in and there's a citizens on patrol. Here's who's on. It's a text of no one on. You had a question?
Well, yeah, that was kind of my question. How many patrols do we have at any given night?
So that's going to be based on this group. You know, if we get 50 members, it's going to look like more. If we get 20 members, it's going to be a built-in old solution. And hopefully you'll tell your friends and they'll get, 4 or 5 patrols, who knows. But it's whatever we do, it's going to be a marked improvement on what is happening right now.
Is there any patrols right now of any sort besides the police? Nothing right now?
Citizens on patrol has not been active in 2 years.
Okay. I just didn't know histories.
So Jen is just going to comment on moving forward and for those who are interested, beyond just coming for tonight, what you can do to turn that into action.
So I hope we haven't scared you. And as I said, I think there's roles and jobs for everybody. So young, old, just show up. Get off your couch, help us, help you and the community. We have the COPA applications and the RCMP forms. Those are the first step to formalize. And so I think what we're going to do is hold off on elections till our next meeting. I think a reasonable time frame agreement is if you could get your applications within the next 2 weeks, then we're gonna have the names. We'll contact those names, and then we'll advertise the meeting more broadly. If we do that within 2 weeks, we will know who's wanting to get going. There is that opportunity in Linden. That's a bit away for some people, so we'll have to send a contingency to Linden, and then we'll also offer training in Olds. We want this to be value-added for volunteers. It's not going to be one training session and that's it. We're going to be doing, you're going to direct us on what you would like to see in the future. So as a group, how we function together, how often we meet, what we do with our time to make it value-add and relevant to our communities. So next 2 dates, 2 weeks to get your applications in. We'll hold another meeting. We'll run elections once we have your signature that you're committed, and start the training process.
We're doing a training session on the 15th.
We just held the date, but I think we need to get time. We want people to know what they're signing up for. The worst thing would be to sign up tonight without the information, like the information is really valuable. So we want volunteers that are going to be in it for, are ready to make a commitment. And I think this meeting with the panel was quite helpful on what we can make this look like. So we will scrap that date. We might, 2 weeks is, the 15th is only a week, and I think we need to give people a little bit of time to get those applications done and then processed. But we'll have names. Once you do your form, we'll contact you for sure. And then we will open the meeting again to others that are interested that maybe just didn't get the form. But if you want to vote, if you want to run for an office position, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, that's the way the board bylaws are structured right now. To me, 4 people, that's quite limiting. I'm hoping that one of the first orders of business is to look at those bylaws and make it a new old product. So we can maybe have a little bit bigger board and maybe not an even number, so we don't have 4 positions in case there's a need for a vote to be broken. So we'll look at those bylaws, and again, with the Societies Act, you have to have an AGM, you have to advertise it. So we have some steps to get our Society Act current again.
So will you be contacting the people who pass the
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the RCMP that does that, but you will.
We don't have to come to the next meeting if we didn't pass. So we need to know before the next meeting.
Yeah.
You gotta pee in the cup tonight.
Yeah, that's it. If I can just have your attention here, Michelle Waycott here, she's one of our admin assistants at the detachment. She does these on a daily basis, so she can shed just a little bit of light briefly on what that process entails.
This is the application for COP. This is the criminal record check that has to be filled out. It's a vulnerable sector check, so we check 5 databases, national databases. It's also checks for any sexual offenses as well as criminal offenses. So these 2 sides have to be filled out, and we'll expedite them through the detachments and get them done within a day or 2 for you, just to get them done. If there's any issues with them, sometimes we have to get fingerprints taken, that type of thing. We'll notify you immediately so that we get that all accomplished as well. There'll be no charge for that. There's no charge for volunteer positions for criminal record checks. So you can take the applications today, fill them out, and drop them off at the detachment. When you come to the detachment, we'll need 2 pieces of identification. So we'll need photo ID, your driver's license, passport, something like that, as well as a second piece of ID that has your name, preferably government issued, so like your Alberta healthcare card, again, a passport, firearms license, WIG card, something like that. Okay? We just take photocopies of those and attach copies to this. We'll run the criminal record checks, and then we'll be able to notify you in a couple days if there's any issues, and then COP will contact you to let you know that everything's clear. Any questions about that?
So check the Town of Olds webpage for continued information, and our Facebook page. We will advertise our meetings that way. We'll include the link, so if you want to refer this meeting to friends, and get them to listen in.
Always good when you're done.
Yeah. that's how we'll get information out, and then again, once we get if you're cleared for COVID duties, we'll have that list and we'll email you, or however, information you give us, your address, your phone number, your email.
So there was a sign-up sheet over here as well. Do you want people to fill that out even if they've taken the paperwork away with them? So that we have contact
The
them?
reason I did the sign-up sheet is I was desperately trying to get minutes so we could take those minutes to the society. So this is an official AGM because we didn't advertise it as an AGM, but it still might help us get through the Society Act. There's a 2-year grace period and we're at about 18 months. So just trying to get that so people don't have to start over again.
And it would be an opportunity for us to be able to contact you by email if you did leave your name and email there. And if for whatever reason you go, well, no, I don't want to become involved, then you can just email us back and we'll take you off that list. But if we couldn't collect your name and email on the way out, that way we can send out the information. We know if you were here tonight and you left us your email, you got the next piece of communication. You don't have to worry about maybe missing it on the website or the radio or paper. So if you could do that, then we appreciate that. And, yes.
Is there an Alberta executive, COP, that we would be under?
Yes.
I remember one year we hosted a convention here in Olds, and it was through the Alberta Citizens on Patrol.
We just had our AGM in September, and it was in High River. And the next one is next year, September, and it'll be in Grand Prairie.
There's a Canadian Association, I think this
We are all across Canada, all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC. It's going completely across. And our president here is the head of that. She's been going out to every province. Ontario is set in, and they're all starting the Citizens on Patrol. It's going in complete all across Canada.
So we don't want to lose the enthusiasm to get out and be part of protecting our community together as a community. So if you could, we'll put them on the ends of the tables here. If you could just please leave an email and a name on the way out, that would be great. Yes.
Can I just make a suggestion? Instead of collecting emails on the sheet, maybe put, say, your email or whoever is going to use those email addresses, put that email address up in the whiteboard.
Yeah, JLUTZ.
Well, just when you collect, you might not be able to read my writing, right?
Yeah.
The list has names and phone numbers now.
Pardon me?
The list has names and phone numbers.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
It would help us then, thank you, we'll think on our feet here. If you could email, if you were here tonight and you have an email, if you can email jlutz@olds.ca, and we'll create a distribution list that will also communicate out what's going to happen. We do want to keep this moving. We don't want the process of having to get everybody through security checks and getting the society running the hamper getting people out into the community.
Is that a small J or just a J, or it doesn't matter?
I don't think it matters, but small.
All lowercase.
Yeah, all lowercase.
All lowercase?
Yeah, there's just
All
all
lowercase?
Yeah.
And our email system will accept it whether it's uppercase or lowercase or mixed, as long as it's those letters in combination. Thank you for coming out tonight, everyone. I hope we continue to see you and encourage others as well to become involved.
Thank you.